Hey, how you doing today, guys? Jason Chaney here, and today I have a very, very special video. Today I'll be actually interviewing Chris Owens. He's actually a LinkedIn contact that I met through another contact, guys. Remember, the value of your connections in LinkedIn is very important. So I would like to give a big shout out to Adam for hooking us up together. Really great. I love you, Adam. Nothing but love for you, brother. Chris is a great guy. We met. He's a family man. He has a very, very great mission out here to help veterans. And so I wanted to interview him so you all could get to know him better and understand his project better. And so first off, tell us a bit about you, Chris, and your background.
Okay, me. Well, I I've done a lot of different things. I mean, on the side for years, I've been in web design and things along those lines. But much longer than that, during all maybe the last 24 years, I've been trained as a counselor, and it's it's something that I really love more than anything else. And I I've done it in different settings in the past, but I kind of found this one particular passion that we're going to be talking about today.
Yes.
I want to utilize that skill to really tackle a big problem. Um, but uh, but yeah, I mean, like it's my goal that I'd like to like dive back into just doing that because it's just so rewarding, um, like changing people's lives. This technique I'm training.
That's awesome. And special, the thing about this guy is he's actually helping veterans. Chris is being very humble right now. He's actually out here helping veterans, trying to help change their lives. And so tell us a little bit more about your mission to help veterans.
Okay, so my organization is called the Restored Valor Project, and what what happened was I guess there's a couple things, let's say, in my past that kind of led me to this. One is, um, although I'm not a veteran myself, I have my father was a Marine, and I had two grandfathers who were both in the Army, and one of them it's hard to go back and ask him now. I would be curious at this point, but he was a pretty bad alcoholic, to the point where he was put in a nursing home way earlier than you would normally do that with someone, and it was mainly because he was just so bad off. He'd become an alcoholic to the point where he would have seizures.
Uh,
He couldn't really be trusted. He would take off and go, and just get plastered. Um, but he had really ruined his life. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is he was in Vietnam, and I can't. I'm not certain that that's exactly the reason why, but it's probably a good bet that it had something to do with it or contributed to.
yes.
You know, um, so I've seen kind of that side of things, um, but I think what got me interested in starting to get involved in this with my counseling skills was that I saw it was like on some kind of political talk show. They had a guy come in from like it was a charity where it was like an independent charity and they were delivering counseling for post-traumatic stress for veterans. And I was like, man, I hadn't really thought of that. I always thought of like the VA tackling that kind of stuff, but I thought of like you could do an independent charity and doing that kind of thing. And I was like, that's something I would really love to do. So I sat on it for a lot of years, and then finally, I was like, you always think, okay, well, I'll wait for the right time. I got to get my
Yeah.
business, whatever. And eventually, it was just like, hell with that. I gotta just start. I gotta just start, or it's never gonna happen. so, this year, I, started embarking upon this journey. Um, so, did I answer that question, or should I
Yes.
keep going?
Yeah, that's great.
Should I keep going, kind of elaborate a little more,
Yeah,
or?
go ahead and elaborate, because if that way, if any veterans going to be watching, that way they can get a little bit more understanding about it. Because
Okay.
what you were saying about your grandfather is a very, very normal thing for veterans, especially if they went to wartime. The statistics actually show that they're more likely to become an alcoholic or abuse substance controlled substances.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a very, very normal thing right now with veterans.
All right. Well, the thing that's unique about what I'm doing is, well, first, I think a little bit of context. Right now, if you're a veteran and you're struggling with post-traumatic stress, you are there are a certain set of things that you might be directed towards. One of them is medication. Another one they might direct you to would be there are various non-drug therapies, right? But I think it's really important to take up one thing about the medication side of it, and that's that. I mean, we talk about this statistic that you know very well of 22 veterans a day committing suicide,
Yes.
or more correctly, veterans and active military. That's a mixture of both, right? Um, but what a lot of people don't realize is that one of the lines of treatment, meaning the psychiatric medications that are given to them, are themselves have the side effect of suicide. So it's really hard to know for sure how much of that 22 a day is actually caused by the drugs and people who would not otherwise have committed suicide. It's hard to know that number, but that's got to be really understood as well. A lot of people don't realize that. They just think, oh, these people are so broken. That's why it's happening to them. They don't realize all the factors that are involved in that statistic, right?
So true.
So that's one thing. That's something I'd really like to see people not go in the direction of. There are non-drug therapies out there. There's EMDR, that's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. There's cognitive behavioral therapy. There's also like exposure therapy. There's these types of things that are offered out there, and there are certainly people that you know have that say they've gotten benefit from those things, right? But the thing that's different from what I'm doing is I'm using a type of counseling called Dianetics counseling. Okay, now some people might know that word. Used to be there would be commercials about it on TV years ago. Dianetics was a book. Came out in 1950. This type of counseling's been around for a long time. It's been used around the world. Millions of people have used it, and it was originally created by L. Ron Hubbard. That happens to be the same guy who also founded Scientology later. Now, I bring that up just to clarify, because this type of counseling is something that's mainly been available just in Scientology organizations. What I'm doing is I'm taking it out of that and I'm allowing it to just be offered directly to the veterans from my charity for no cost, right? And just to clarify, there's no religious connotation, or there's no mission related to that in what I'm doing. It doesn't matter what someone's faith is or the belief system. The technique has nothing to do with that. It's basically a technique that is designed to help a person to permanently release pain out of a memory. And it just happens to be the best technique out there for this. And so I want to make it available to anyone. And the unique thing about it is how fast and how efficient a person can be helped with this. Most type of non-drug therapies are alleviating symptoms, maybe allowing the person to have a system they can use to better deal with the problem when they have certain feelings cropping up, right? But a lot of these therapies take a long time, and most of them do not fully resolve the condition. And let's say there are states with situations where they did fully resolve the condition, it took a long time to do it, typically, right? With Dianetics, the amazing thing is if you had, let's say you had a particular traumatic incident that was affecting you, right? Whether it was a certain combat event or it could be women who were sexually assaulted in the military, it could be an incident like that. Anything traumatic, it doesn't matter what it is. You can, in most cases, address that incident in one session.
Oh, that's amazing.
And address it completely in that session, right? Now, there's obviously different circumstances, there's different cases with each person, and there's obviously other scenarios where a person has a whole string of incidents, and that's not going to be handled in one session. But still, the speed with which you can address these things and the efficiency of it, and the other factor is that sometimes with these other therapies, they might do a session, and it might also stir things up very much. So after the session, they're left with more, like it kind of gets worse for a while before getting better. That sometimes is an experience with some of these things. With Dianetics, every time you never are ending a session before that's flattened out. and it's
Okay.
not re-stimulated anymore, right? You're never left in the middle of something. Dianetic sessions aren't timed. You don't go like, ah, well, an hour's up, time to go, or an hour and a half. No, it's like you always end at a good point,
Okay.
right? So I know it can be hard to believe like that something can get these kind of results, but it's very easy to demonstrate. And I'm just looking for the opportunity to find people who are willing to try it out and see what they think.
That's really, really awesome. One things I would like to add to that, guys. The average veteran right now or active duty military is usually prescribed anywhere from 3 to 5 psychoactive meds at a time. And compounding of these medications have never been tested. And we don't know, like Chris was saying, we don't know if it's the medication that is causing these veterans and active duty to want to kill themselves, or if it's actually just the experience of what they're going through. So this is why this is really, really great if it can just help someone, because there's too many family lives that are being destroyed. And it's a pattern from what's going on with the veterans coming back, especially in this time where we're in a constant state of war and we're in a constant state of overprescribing psych meds and other chemicals to help people out instead of helping them through it in more natural ways. So I
Yeah,
really, really thank you for that.
actually, the other thing with the meds is that a lot of people don't realize when we talk about there's a high incidence of substance abuse, like when coming back, right? A lot of people don't realize is that when a um, when a serviceman is sent to the front lines, they're often sent with a 180-day supply of a psychiatric drug that they are often required to take. I
Yes.
think legally they're not required to. I think legally they could say no, but I think in actual practice it's hard to say no in that scenario without like penalty or something like that. But so they're being given this, say like here's this drug before anything's wrong because you can't deal with the horrors of war, and so start taking this right away. And then they're used to taking something to deal with their emotions, right? And that's just sets someone up for substance abuse later.
Yes. And then also they never, because I was a victim of this. It was one of my biggest problems. You never feel comfortable to talk about what you're going through, getting it out. It's just bottled inside of you. It's just standing there, stirred up. And I can tell you guys, and I'm sure I can speak for any other veteran out there, when you're holding in all that grief, that pain, and all of that, and you never let it out, especially in a safe place, it really starts to destroy you from the inside out. And so this is why I really love this technique. I think it's a great thing. Also, Chris was so great because as you all know, I'm actually in Colombia in South America. He actually sent me a thing to where I can actually do it. Just hop on a 40-minute plane to the next city over. So I really appreciate that also. That's something I'm going to be looking into doing. And so now if a veteran hears this message or a family member of a veteran, how could they reach out to you?
Well, the best thing would be go to the website. It's restoredvalor.org. We are, by the way, now a 501c3 tax exempt organization as of last week. So,
Congratulations.
uh, but if you go to restoredvalor.org, there's a phone number you can call you'll get me directly. You can email, there's an application, it's just a simple form to say, you're interested in why, what you're looking to address. Um, and there's also if you think this might be something interesting but you're not sure and you want to find out more about it, there's a page right on the site called Watch the Dianetics How-To Video. It's a video I've set up. It's basically it's set up as a YouTube playlist. It's a video that's an hour and a half long. It's set up in 15 chapters on there, right? And you can go through and watch the video. It explains all of the theory behind Dianetics, how the mind stores pain, and it even shows the basic structure of how a session works. It doesn't show you all the additional techniques that can be included in a session, but it shows you the basic structure. So you can go in really with eyes wide open and see exactly what it is we're doing. So I would say to do that. And the other thing to keep in mind is this: even though like I'm personally located in southern New Jersey, and I'm in addition to being the executive director, I'm also one of the counselors that is referred to. We're not stuck at this location. Part of the model of what I'm doing is that we're there it doesn't matter if it, let's say somebody's in Chicago and they go, I want to do this, right? Well, good. Well, I'm putting together a network of Dynamics counselors around the country. And actually, I've got them outside the country too. And so what we do is we would connect you with a counselor that's near you, or if necessary, maybe we'd send someone to you. And then we would, the charity would pay the counselor to do the counseling, to address anything that, like any incidents that you accumulated during your time in the service. That's basically the object, is to clean up anything, all the baggage from the service itself that might be affecting you.
That is awesome. In case you guys didn't hear that, it's restoredvalor.org. Also, I'm going to put it down here in the comments for you. And also, I'm going to put Chris's link for his LinkedIn page if you want to go directly to him and speak to him. You know, I really, really appreciate you for getting in touch with me, Chris. It's been great as a veteran myself. I love you. I appreciate everything you do. I love your mission. And it's something, you know, I'll be fighting alongside you the whole way through this. And just, I really, 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 I can't thank you enough how much I appreciate the help you're doing. I know you said, you started off saying you're not a veteran yourself, but from the bottom of my heart as a veteran, it means so much to me when a civilian who's never served don't really understand all the pressure that goes through it, being the everyday military life, when you're willing to take the sacrifices and take the time to actually care for a community that, you know, a lot of people say, oh, thank the veteran, thank the veterans. We're grateful for your service, but it's true heroes like you that are out here trying to help those heroes as they're coming back home and they're readjusting. I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. And so if you're a veteran or if you're a family member of a veteran, and if you want to know more about this, please, please, please go to restoredvalor.org. Click the link below. Also, if you're on the fence, talk to Chris. He's a great guy. He's open. He's ready. When me and him first met, he just got on the phone. We were talking. I think we talked for almost an hour and a half. He's a great guy, guys. There's nothing to be afraid of. He's here to help you. And if you want more information or if you're just on the fence, please talk to him, because you never know what can help you if you don't try to do it. And I thank you so much. And thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you.